What is going on, my fellow YouTubers? This is Ricky J, baby, from Ricky J Sports, and I need to take a deep breath because last night the fights were unbelievable, and I just want to say congrats to my buddy St.Pierre for winning the middleweight strap. What an unbelievable battle. You know what? It was all about his ability to mix up his striking with his grappling that kind of threw Bisping off, man. But, you know, people say that he kind of gassed out, but he really put the pressure on him. It was kind of like a throwback. You kind of saw the GSP of UFC 65 when he fought Matt Hughes the second time when he won the title for the first time. He just looked a lot looser and not so stressed out about keeping his belt. He was really... It was just such a treat to watch. Being a Canadian, seeing him win was great, and much respect to Bisping. I think the whole time, I really enjoyed the back and forth battle that they had. The verbal words, the word warfare, what people like to say. It was crazy because they never said anything that was personal. You know, Bisping was calling him a lizard. GSP was saying, "Are you intoxicated? Why is your voice not all there? I'm a better version." But it was nice to see them embrace at the end, and it was nothing personal. But the thing though is, you know, Bisping's an unbelievable guy, an unbelievable fighter, and he's durable, man. Beating Rockhold. That Anderson Silva fight was crazy, but just to see GSP hold his own in that weight class was crazy, man. But let's break down the other fights. I'm gonna show a Division 8 battle. I'm using George St. Pierre. This is not live. I'm facing this Division 8 tough guy, but I'm just gonna talk over it while you guys see some nice little eye candy action. This was a crazy fight, but all in all, I think Bisping should come back for the event in Manchester. And if I'm in George's shoes, I would not continue fighting in the middleweight division. He looked good, but I think all that muscle, like, he kind of slowed him down a little bit. You know, he was feeling a little gassed in the end of the second round. But, you know, the cuts that he got being on top, I was hosting a party and people were saying, "Oh my God, George is hurt." He wasn't hurt, man, and he's used to getting cut. It's not his first rodeo. I don't know if you guys remember when he fought BJ Penn, UFC 58, I believe. He was all busted up. Penn really, you know, he clipped his nose, but it caused him to bleed heavily out of the nose, and George was fine and continued battling. And, you know, there's the other fight, I was there live at UFC 129 when he fought Jake Shields, and he was bleeding quite a bit out of his nose, and everything was fine, man. So he was used to it. He's battle tested, and it was great to see him get the victory. So yeah, I think he should fight. I think he should either walk away or try to fight Conor McGregor, man. I know some people think that's crazy. They think GSP's too big for McGregor, but McGregor, I believe, is like 5'9", and GSP's 5'10", and McGregor fought Diaz, remember, the first time at 170, and George has been fighting at 170 his whole career. So maybe I would like to see that, but if he can't get that McGregor fight, I want to see him retire, man. And I know some people would be like, "Ricky, why are you saying that about your beloved George St. Pierre retiring after a huge victory?" I just think he's done it all, and I don't want to see him against some of those killers in the middleweight division, like that guy Paulo Costa. Oh my gosh, imagine George against that guy. You know, like, GSP is a gamer. He's tough. He's really good at developing game plans with his team, but that guy Costa is he's a beast. He seems like to be at another level. He manhandled Hendricks, man. And didn't Hendricks, he looked like a guy like that had too many drinks at the bar, man. He really looked out of shape and old, man. You know, it was just really sad to see. And I guess I'm not speculating that he took steroids, man, but after, like, this USADA kind of, like, world that we're living in now, he just doesn't seem the same, man. I think with Hendricks, he should hang it up, man, because he just can't compete at 185, and he can't make 170. And I think in some interview he was saying that he wants the UFC to make a 175-pound division or some sort. But anyhow, let's move on to the next fight, the co-main event. That fight was crazy. And before I move on to that, I predicted the GSP fight. I'll put a link of the video of me predicting the outcome of the fight, man. Yeah, you guys thought I was crazy, but I did it, man. Call me Ricky Nostradamus Sports, baby. But anyway, the TJ Garbrandt fight, holy smokes, man. Like, it was intense because I was telling people that that were at my house, man. I was telling them that like Cody just has that knockout power. He's got that boxing, but he doesn't really threaten with his feet. It's all about the punches with Garbrandt, and you never really see him. He uses his defense kind of like, or his wrestling like Liddell used to do it, man. Sprawl and brawl, keep it on the feet, and utilize his boxing. But with TJ Dillashaw, he puts all of the mixed martial arts realm together to make it very difficult to fight against him, because you got to worry about his wrestling, his punches, and his kicks. And he was setting up some nice kicks. And the kick that really hurt Garbrandt, he was aiming low, as I'm getting rocked here. Look at this fight, man. But he was aiming low at Garbrandt's legs, and the whole time he was kind of putting that in Garbrandt's mind, TJ was, that he was going to kick low, and then he went to kick low again, and Garbrandt went to block low, and that's when he hit him with a high kick and really stunned him. And they always say it's the strike that you don't see coming is what hurts you, and that's what happened to Cody. And the one thing, I was really cheering for TJ, because at the end of the first round when Cody rocked TJ, he kind of flipped the bird at him. And I think, you know, that nonsense like doesn't belong inside the octagon. I'm an old school kind of sports guy. Like, I play baseball, and when guys hit home runs and they dance around the bases like they've done it for the first time, I really hate that. I'm old school, man. You got to respect your opponent. Even though you're cheering inside, you got to really respect your opponent. Keep the integrity of the game down pat, man. And I don't like how when TJ was hurt, he flipped the bird at him. And but whatever, man. Later on, he got his redemption. He rocked him, and then he rocked him on the feet with the punches, and down went Cody. And it was so funny at the end because TJ was in shock, man. He was in shock with his performance, and then Cody kind of got up, and then that's when TJ was like right in the middle of him of yelling and screaming, and then Cody was looking right at him. I don't think he meant anything like that, but that is the type of fight that I just love to see. It brought me back to when, remember Josh Koscheck when he fought Diego Sanchez for the first time? And Diego Sanchez was 19-0, and those guys both thought that they were going to win, man. They both had that in their DNA that they're going to win. And seeing them go back and forth, you just didn't know who was going to win. And that's what I felt watching those two fight, man. Remember when Koscheck, when he won by decision, he was running half the time. He's like, and I gotta say, Joe, Diego is now 19-1. It was crazy, man. But the other championship fight, or before I get into that, moving forward, I don't think TJ and Cody should fight again, man. I think if it was a really close battle and it went to a decision, if it was split or unanimous, I would say roll it back again. But TJ knocked him out. TJ stopped him. So I think what would be a good fight is for Dillashaw to fight Johnson. Johnson's got to, man, he's got to fight some competition. In my opinion, I still think that Demetrius Johnson, his performance in the UFC is kind of tainted because that lower division doesn't really have a lot of competitive guys, and he has that opportunity to fight guys above his weight class, and he didn't because he just wants to beat the record. And when he fought Dominic Cruz back in the day, he lost. So I'd like to see TJ fight Johnson. If he can't get that fight, rematch Cruz, man. Rematch Cruz, and I actually want to see the Cruz fight a lot. As far as Cody Garbrandt, he needs to build himself back up, man. You really have to. And they always say, you know, you're not a real champion until you defend, and it's really difficult when you go out into the octagon. I'm talking like I've fought before, but it's really difficult. You guys know it. When you've won the belt, you have a layoff, and then you got to defend the belt. That first title defense, I think, is the toughest fight. So he's got to work his way back up to get that title shot. And then the other championship fight, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, man, against Rose Namajunas. Like, everybody was saying leading up to this fight that Rose is mentally weak, and she was actually in tears when they had that media scrum, and they were asking her questions, and one guy, it was that guy Black, I forgot his first name, he's like, what are you gonna look forward to after the fight? And she said something like hanging out with her family and her dog, and all of a sudden she got teary-eyed, and then the British reporter's like, you're getting kind of emotional, Rose, why are you getting emotional? And then she's like, I'm the best in the world. And then people were like, why is she crying for these interviews? So everyone thought she was mentally weak. And then, you know, you got Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She reminds me of, I love Joanna Jędrzejczyk. But she reminds me of the witch from Wizard of Oz. Am I the only one? Have you ever watched the Wizard of Oz, the original movie? She reminds me of the witch, man. But everybody thought she was just going to steamroll her. But, you know, we have that UFC Fantasy League in our channel, man. I'm talking a mile a minute here. But I was thinking about changing my pick right before the fight started. I had Joanna winning by decision, but everybody forgot about Rose Namajunas' finish against Michelle Waterson. She stopped her and really hurt her bad, man. And the one thing with Joanna, as she was continuing to try to beat Ronda Rousey's record for most female title defenses, her fights are going to a decision, and you don't really see that crazy punching power, that finishing type of power with Joanna. And with Rose, you were seeing that she's only 25 years old, and you really see that punching power, ability to stop your opponent, and she did that against Michelle. So I thought, why not try Rose Namajunas as far as the prediction's concerned? And she did it, man. She really stopped her. She hurt her, and then Joanna got up and she hurt her again, and she finished it in the first round, silencing all the critics. And it was funny, I was telling people at my party, I'm like, everybody that won in the title fights were guys that were, or girls that were humble and weren't cocky, man. All the cocky guys and girls like Joanna, she was, I love Joanna, but she was cocky leading into this fight. Bisping and Cody Garbrandt, all those people, man, they lost. And I was even saying, I'm like, if I was ever in the UFC, I would never trash talk, man, because if you lose, you got to kind of face the music after that. You got to be humble, because if you lose, man, it's all good, because you weren't talking trash, you know what I mean? But all in all, it was a fantastic card. It may go down as my favorite card of all time, and I know you guys probably think I'm crazy. I've seen a lot of UFC cards, but GSP's my guy, man, and seeing him finally get the finish was so unbelievable. I remember last night I went to bed and I woke up throughout the course of the night, and I asked my wife, I'm like, did that really happen? Did George really get the finish? And, she's like, go back to bed because you got to get up early, take the dog out. But anyway, it was just so cool to see. And then even that, seeing Paulo Costa dismantle Hendricks, I was loving that. It was like I was the coach of, John Kreese of Cobra Kai, seeing the guy that was taking out one of my guys lose, man. Because a lot of people thought that Hendricks beat GSP. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. This fight has ended, and it's going to a decision. Let me know who you think or who deserved this fight, man. I'm rambling. I'm stumbling over my words. I'm still so excited over the UFC 217 card, man. But this is unedited. I've been talking for 13 minutes, and I'm loving it. Anyhow, people, stay tuned for updates for the UFC Fantasy League. I'll post that. Oh, look at that. He got the victory. It was 29-28. But I'll post the updated standings, and I'm also going to post more videos of UFC 3 as well. All right, people, this is Ricky J, baby, from Ricky J Sports. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about UFC 217. Was it the best card of all time? And let me know what your favorite moment was. Mine was seeing GSP win by submission. Anyhow, people, this is Ricky J, baby, from Ricky J Sports.
And you are awesome.